Hello everyone, this is Karthikeyan. I am a candidate master on code forces, 5-star on CodeChef, ICPC Kanpur Mathura Regions 2020 rank 27 and global rank 251 in Google Kickstart Round Day 2021. And today I am going to discuss the problem tax slabs, which was asked in February Cook-Off 2020 Division 2. The difficulty level of the problem is Cakewalk, the prerequisites are none, and the number of submissions this problem got during the contest were 1876. Now let's move on to the problem statement. So, in India, every individual is charged with income tax on the total income each year. This tax is applied to specific ranges of income. We have to apply the tax to certain ranges of income, okay, which are called the income tax slabs. The range of income are called tax slabs and income tax is applied on that. The slabs of income tax keep changing from year to year. This fiscal year 2020 to 2021, the tax slabs and their respective rates are as follows. So up to 2.5 lakhs, there won't be any tax. Now, the income greater than 2.5 lakh and less than or equal to 5 lakh, there would be 5% tax on that income. Now, the income greater than 5 lakh and less than 7.5 lakhs, there would be 10% tax on that income. Now, the income greater than 7.5 lakh and less than or equal to 10 lakh, there would be 15% tax on that income. And the income greater than 10 lakh and less than or equal to 12.5 lakh, there would be 20% tax and so on. Okay. Now, you are given the chef's total income. We have to find the net income of the chef. Basically, the total income minus the tax on the total income. The net income is calculated by subtracting the total tax, also called tax reduction, from the total income. Note that you do not need to worry about any other kind of tax. So basically, the tax mentioned in the table above is the only tax that we have to consider. There is no other tax that we have to keep in mind. Now, here T denotes the number of test cases and N denotes the income of the chef. And N is a multiple of 100. Okay. So we only have to determine the net income of the chef. So let's look at the first test case, in which case the income of the chef is 6 lakh. Now, up to 2.5 lakh, the tax would be 0 since the tax rate is 0%. Now, for the income between 2.5 to 5 lakh, the tax rate is 5%. And yeah, so 5 lakh minus 2.5 lakh, this is the income between 2.5 to 5 lakh, the tax rate would be 5%, which is this much. Now, for above 5 lakh to 7.5 lakh, the tax rate is 6%. But chef does not earn up till 7.5 lakh. He only earns up till 6 lakh. So it would be 6 minus 5 into 0.1. So the tax rate would be this much. And summing up would be the total tax. And if we deduct the total tax from the income, then it would result in the net income. So now let's discuss a few things. What I'm trying to say, I have made this number line. Here x is 10 raised to the power 5. This is basically 2.5 lakh. This is 5 lakh, this is 7.5 lakh, this is 10 lakh, 12.5 lakh and 15 lakh. Now, and the amount of income which is greater than 15 lakh is charged with 30%. Between 12.5 to 15 lakh is charged with 25%. Between 10 to 12.5 lakh is charged with 20% and so on. As mentioned in the table are the respective tax charges. Okay. Now, here y denotes the income. Now, if we consider this as if else if, okay, if this is an if, this is an else if, okay, and so on. Now, if y is less than or equal to 2.5 lakh, then there won't be any tax charged on the chef. But if y lies in this range, in this particular range, y is greater than 2.5 lakh and less than or equal to 5 lakh, then for this particular slab, there won't be any tax charged. But for this particular slab, suppose that y is less than 5x or less than or equal to 5x and greater than 2.5x. So 10% tax would be charged on what particular amount of money? On this amount of money, 10% tax would be charged. Okay. Now, if or 5% tax would be charged, okay? Because for this 2.5 to 5 lakh, the tax rate is 5%. Now, if y is greater than 5 lakh and less than 7.5 lakh, or basically in this particular tax slab, the tax rate is 10%. So if y lies here, then the tax slab, this particular tax slab is counted fully 2.5 lakh on an amount of 2.5 lakh, 5% interested interest is considered. Now, if it is here and after that y is between 5 lakh to 7.5 lakh, so on this particular amount y minus 7.5 lakh, 10% interest is charged and it is done. Y minus 5 lakhs, 10% interest is charged and it is done. Now, let us discuss a few more things. Let us assume that y is greater than 10 lakh, okay, and less than or equal to 12.5 lakh. So on the tax slab from 0 to 2.5 lakh, nothing is charged, 0. Now on the tax slab from 2.5 to 5 lakh, it is a tax slab of 2.5x and the charge rate is 5%. So this would be the tax 5% of 2.5 lakh. Now from 5x to 7.5x, the tax rate is 10% and the range is 7.5 minus 5, which is 2.5. So it would be charged with 10% of tax. Now from 7.5x to 10x, the range is 2.5x and the tax rate is 15%. So it would be charged with 15%. 2.5 lakh would be charged with 15%. Okay, and from 10x to y, because y is less than or equal to 12.5x, this particular range y minus 10x, not 2.5x, because it is not a complete range, it would be charged with 20%, and so on. If y is greater than 12.5x and it is less than 15x, then this particular slab would have been considered complete of 2.5x rather than that of y minus 10x, and the last slab would be considered like this, y minus 15x of 25%. But if y is greater than 15 of x, then this particular slab would be considered complete, which is y minus 15 of x is written here, or y minus 12.5 of x is written here. It would be written as 15x minus 12.5x, which is 2.5x, and on this 2.5x 25% tax would be charged, and for y greater than 15x, for the last slab, the tax rate would be this much, 30%. So what I'm trying to say, there are basically certain tax ranges, okay, which is 0 to 2.5, 0%, 2.5 to 5x, 5%, 5x to 7.5x, 10%, and so on. Anything greater than 15x is 30%. So for the different ranges of income, we have to charge different tax rates. So this is the approach. Let's see my code regarding this. Here is my code. Now, here I am using a vector of vector, and here t denotes the number of test cases, n denotes the income of the chef, answer would store the, initially it would store the tax, and after that I would just write n minus answer as a final answer, which is the net income. Now, vector of vector integer. This would be a vector of 3 elements. This vector would be of 3 elements. The first denoting the starting element of the slab, the next denoting the ending element of the slab, and the third element being the tax. It is 2.5 lakh till 5 lakh and 5% tax. 5 to 7.5 and 10% tax. 7.5 to 10 and 15% tax, and so on. Now, I would just iterate over this array. Now I would check that if n is less than or equal to array of I0, it means that this particular income is less than or equal to array of I0. So this particular income doesn't belong to this particular slab or any of the tax slabs ahead of this. So we should break. We don't need to charge any more tax on this particular income. Now, but if it is not so, then the slab would be equal to the minimum of n comma array of I1 minus array of I0. There might be certain cases. If this is a tax slab, array of I0 and array of I1, and the income is here, then we have to charge the tax from array of I0 till n. But if this is array of I0 and this is array of I1 and this is the income, then we have to charge the tax from array of I0 till array of I1. Okay, so basically we just calculate the slab on which we have to charge the tax rate, and the tax rate is array of I2. I just divide the slab by 100 and multiply it by the tax rate. This would be the tax because of this slab. I add this tax in the answer, and after that I print n minus answer, which is the net income for every test case. Let's try submitting the solution. You can see that the code got accepted. So if you have any doubt regarding the approach, you can ask in the comment section, and thank you for watching the video.